Hi, this is Cynthia Ortiz. It is 12:49 noon on October 5th, 2021. These are the Charles Perry Stalker podcasts. So I'm going to give the disclaimer right now of I'll use allegedly whenever something is asserted as a criminal matter or a crime that Mr. Perry commits. And also apply the but-for standard, but for him being in Oklahoma where I am, bothering, provoking, threatening and harassing, witness tampering, on, and stalking, voyeurism, hacking. There wouldn't need to be any kind of Me Too assertion here, would there? So, Mr. Perry's not a victim, in other words. So, we get this recording this morning. We've gotten, okay, let's go back over here. There's three significant, these guys get recorded all the time. Yesterday, it was Mr. Robertson. Just find something to arrest her for. We need her to shut up. Okay, but there's people getting what you just said, men, other men in my life that have power, that get what you just said like that. Call Josh Burson. What are you going to call Josh Burson for? Josh Burson, call him. I don't care. This is the guy who doesn't know what dark and twisty means. Meredith Grey, her mother was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. It's on the TV show Grey's Anatomy. She said it made her feel dark and twisty. That is what she said after she's expressing that she had experienced significant loss. It wasn't said as a threat, Josh. If you were good at your job, you would have known that before you went into court and lied. So the McNamara email of 2015, it was described a false arrest that Mr. Perry carried out in January 2016. The harassment email of April 2019, Charles actually did exactly what the email says in 5 months later. Went into court and lied. I'm being harassed. Nope. You're provoking. You got caught. You had that planned. The quid pro quo, that's all being questioned. Had Matt not gone around and told everybody there's no quid pro quo, then it would be very hard for them to assert that they went into court and deceived the court. Because it looks like they did. Because he said there was no quid pro quo. There was no agreement. And that's on these emails here. This one. That's the harassment email. We're going to send her home after the first false arrest we did that was outlined in the McNamara email. We're going to make her think that we'll leave her alone. What we're really going to do is harass the hell out of her. Then when she tells on us, we're going to claim she's harassing us. We're victims. Yep. So that was duly noted, and then you did it. So you can't claim you had no such plan because you did do it. And this was sent in April, and you did it 5 months after this. Yeah, okay. And the quid pro quo is the bond conditions. Those are probably here. This is what I said. I was arrested January 29th. I put this out on January 4th. Everyone knew because it was all over Twitter. I'm being threatened with death and false arrest. It was all over Twitter. Everyone knew. And I'm telling you, it's not going to make it doesn't mean he's not stalking me. It means he is stalking me. He's been threatening that specifically. Listen, Mr. Perry constantly telling me, I can see you. He's typing in my phone. I like looking. I can see you. Dude, 10 years, you're sitting by yourself. No woman's holding your hand. You're a turnoff. Women don't like that. It's a crime, by the way. It's a crime. For you, it's federal. Stalking is a crime. Hacking is a crime. Peeping is a crime. You're a turnoff. Don't act like that's a trophy. That's why you're by yourself. You don't have anything real. I can see you. I can see you. Do you know how ridiculous you sound? You don't have any power. You're not normal. You can't even be normal. You're just creepy. These are the bond conditions that Mr. Powell said there was no quid pro quo. That means you went into court and you deceived the court. Because Mr. Perry here admits he's stalking me and agrees to stop. But reality is he deceived the court because he intended to do this. And you're caught. My guys do not tell people we don't want your evidence. That's not what they say. They dig and dig and dig and dig. And that is why we have the McNamara email, the Fabian puzzle wasn't from digging, the harassment email, and the Mike Neely was drugged email that I said in January 2020, Mike Neely was drugged. He didn't kill anybody. He slept through the whole thing. That's why he didn't have a mark on him and he can't remember anything. The fight wasn't between Mike and Lucky. The fight was between Lucky and the person who murdered Lucky. After he starts questioning, what'd you give Mike? He's passed out. You guys running drugs? We know Charles does cocaine. We know that because we dig. We don't tell people we don't want your evidence. Listen, I didn't come up here to fight with David Robertson or Tulsa Police. My job was to get Charles elected. He got elected. That's it. That was supposed to be the end of it. He comes to Oklahoma. Mr. Perry, I'm going to tell Mr. Perry, Powell, Josh, Joe, Dave, you're going to have to, in our courtroom, our judge isn't going to be ignorant on fact. When people hear what I have to say, they know exactly why you wouldn't let me in court. You're not fooling anybody. You're pissing people off. Everyone's sick and tired of you. The more you fuck with me, the more you're caught. And that's never happened to you guys before, has it? Call Josh. Yeah, call Josh. Josh is smart. Wow. We're impressed with Josh. My guys have been talking to y'all. 2 of them have talked to y'all, and y'all had no idea who you were talking to. Because they don't tell people we don't take your evidence. We don't look at evidence. They do their job, and they do it very well. Charles, peeping is a turnoff. That's why you're alone. You don't have anything real. When you contact me, I don't want to hear what you have to say. I didn't ask you. What I asked you to do is don't contact me. I'm sick of repeating myself. Sick and tired of repeating myself. If Josh can't even dig to see what dark and twisty means, meaning that it's a quote from a TV show, and it's not a threat, it's about how one feels after one experiences a significant loss. Josh, call Josh Burson. The other thing we keep hearing recording is we got to get our trash. Maybe we need to go through the neighbor's trash, find out if she's getting something from these guys at Walgreens or Walmart or Target. And there's a piece of paper, and then she's throwing it away in the neighbor's trash or hers. Listen, I've been at this for 10 years. I've been at this for 10 years. First of all, that's not how that works, but if it was, you burn it. You don't put it in trash. You need to start thinking. Boom. Y'all, we got you. You don't think. It's funny as fuck. You can go through the trash all you want. Go fetch. Go fetch. I think it's hysterical. First of all, you're not supposed to know where I live. What those guys say? I got 3 people in my office. I got 3 people in my office that said, how did they even know she was in Manford? We're not stalking her. We had no idea that's where she was. How did they know? How did you know that's where I was if you're not stalking? Listen, we don't think it's funny that she killed a cop and that Mike's sitting in jail. Every day that he sits in jail, every day that I'm starving, every day that you contact me, Charles, and peep and hack, every day that you keep this, everyone's sick of you. We get more and more. My guys go at you harder. You act like you like getting caught. You guys have not been caught this much ever in your lives. You running drugs? You running guns? My guys know. They know the answer to that. You're not fooling anybody. You're caught for the first time in your lives. TPD didn't get the McNamara email. They didn't get the harassment email. They didn't get the Mike is drugged email. We got that. We got that, TPD. I didn't come up here to pick a fight with you. I came here to get away from one. Blessed are the peacemakers. I came here to get away. I moved twice to avoid a conflict. Everyone is sick and tired of you, Charles, coming to a state where you don't live. And bothering, and bothering, and bothering, and bothering. Our witness says Charles Perry likes trolling women. He puts a camera in their house, hidden, pays the landlord or maintenance guy a little something something to get him in, or a locksmith, or he gets a bump key, but he gets in. Sells watch time on the dark web. He's raking it in while he's starving, torturing, and tormenting women and little babies. Blowing up families. He gets them fired. Then he hacks them. He makes sure they can't find another job. They're starving. They're stressing. This is traumatizing. And he goes and jacks off. He's causing family conflicts. And you fucked with my family a lot. You act like there's no history before you. With careers that got blown up. He says he causes them to lose their house and then he has the ex take the kids away. Kids are traumatized. They'll never be the same. Ever. And we're catching you. TPD's not catching you. We are. Josh isn't catching you. We are. We caught Josh. If you can't be a good cop, don't be a fucking cop. Go work for Charles. Because someone else is working this. Someone else is digging. Someone else doesn't say, I don't want to look at your evidence. Someone else is looking at it. They're digging. They're asking questions. My granddad taught me four things. Four things here. One is no criminal gets it all. Everyone leaves something behind, and everyone takes something with them. Nobody gets it all. Two, when you got a puzzle, put the pieces together like they really are. Because if you try to make something fit that isn't meant to fit, it's going to bite your ass later. Somewhere down the line, it's going to bite you in the ass. And treat people with dignity and respect and with kindness. And develop rapport with them. And they'll give you the evidence you need and you want to solve your crime. Blessed are the peacemakers. We relieve suffering caused by crime. Charles, nobody wants you here. Everybody's sick and tired of you. If you can't put it together in your head that when you commit a crime, that act is offensive, you're imposing that on other people. You're a burden. You have reduced yourself to the butt of a dirty joke, just like Anthony Weiner. You don't have power. Other men in my life have power to get me the Fabian puzzle and what I just showed you. And then this ridiculous, Pinto confirmed what Lucky Miller asked me about a forged marriage license. Charles was hoping for a post-forgery wedding. Are you shitting me with this? Wow, you live on Planet Weirdo. You live on Planet Weirdo. And I've even heard the conversations of maybe we can get her in WITSEC or make her think so. Let's get her in a shelter, make her think she's safe. Make her think we want her out of Oklahoma because she's catching our crime, and we don't like that. And that's been duly noted for the record. Guys, it's duly noted that that's your goal. You're caught. You always get caught because this time you fucked with the wrong people. Other men in my life have power. Torture, torment, starvation of women and children that you broadcast all over the internet, all over the world is coming back to bite your ass. My family was the most wonderful, fun, kind, loving, supportive group of people on the planet. So if they're doing something to hurt me for you, and they have done some, you're forcing them to. Because you act like you think there's no history before you came around, and there is. There's a lot of good history. Careers, family members getting along, peace, joy, prosperity, abundant living. I have enough for me and enough to give. Until you came along and you started your criminal ick sliming that all over us. So, I know what my family's been through, and part of the reason you're getting your ass kicked so hard, your criminal ass bitch, is for fucking with my family. You want to know if my family told? You want to know if Ty, Lindsay, Renee, Kim, Jim, Al, Z, don't even know who half those people are? I know probably 20 Ties. I know probably 5 Kims. I know probably 5 Jims. I'm not told that. I'm not told that. Charles, I'm not told that. Charles, I don't know. Charles, I'm not told that. Stop asking. I don't know. You got Alzheimer's. Here we are in the Alzheimer's ward again. One time is all I say things. And if you're not smart enough to get it the first time I say it, I don't have any words for that. I don't have any words for that. So when I'm in Lubbock, I'm working the campaign of Speaker of the House. Charles was working it too, but I'm a paid campaign worker. He had just gotten elected to the state House of Representatives in Texas. I can't remember exactly what we were trying to do, but I was paid. I paid for that campaign. Charles and I were on the same side. This woman, Connie Curry, she's like a wannabe in Lubbock. She, the way she talks, you'd think she was important. She's actually not. I'm standing in a circle of friends, and everybody comes to me. About 5 people come up to me, and they're like, what are you working on now? What are you doing? And I'm like, oh my God, I'm busy. I'm working on the Speaker of the House campaign. And Connie's like, oh, she overhears it. She's across the room, comes running over. Oh yeah, we're busy. We're working. We're making phone calls. We're this, we're that. And I'm thinking, the fuck? Just butt in like that. That's what you do, Charles. You just butt in. You're like a wannabe. You're pathetic. Turns out she was just pissing everybody off. I got a bunch of phone calls. Please make her stop. She's not part of the paid campaign. I actually called Charles and said, call Connie and make her stop. You're the same. You and her are the same, like the little old lady. Butting in and butting in and butting in. No one asked you. I don't care what you think. I don't care what you want. I don't care what you need. I care that you're hurting people, and it's pissing me off, and everyone's sick of you. I'm sorry you're pathetic. I'm sorry you were abused as a kid. So was Oprah Winfrey. So was I. Not in the same way. I wasn't sexually abused, but I was abused. You're abusing me now, sexually. You're starving me to death. I could go rob a bank and, oh, well, I'm going to use it. You should feel sorry for me. Charles Perry's torturing and tormenting and starving me and my family. I don't. I'm using it to find a way to end your crime. To do some good in the world, to relieve suffering from your crime. My granddad was right. You do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. Because if you don't, it's going to bite you in the ass somewhere down the road. And if anybody's smart, they can think that through all the way. Mr. Perry goes into court. There's a political vendetta and a false police report. I'm a victim. Please feel sorry for me. No evidence of a political vendetta. I helped you get elected. Politically, you were not worth anything to me. I'd been in politics all my life. You were the new guy. I had other people to call. I have other men in my life that have power. You're just a scumbag criminal. You are a job. My job was to get you elected, and I did. That was supposed to be the end of it. You chose to come where I am and go crime after crime after crime after crime after crime after crime. And so now the whole thing is, and this marriage, this imaginary wedding you have, or marriage, or whatever the hell that is that Pinto was asking me about, I recorded that. That's the other question is, there should have been an immediate injunction order granted in a hearing on that when she asked for one on that Pinto thing. Very convincing evidence. And what's weird is his attorney put that into evidence, not her. I thought Mark Warman would argue for its suppression because it's inflammatory, and he didn't. He put it in evidence. And there was no hearing. And I'm going to tell you something, you little dumbasses. People hear me talking, they're like, now we know why Charles won't let her in court. When you hear her talk, that's why he never lets her in court. He does everything on the planet to keep her out. That's why. Any idiot can see, Charles, she's telling the truth. Not a genius. Didn't your friend say that to you? Not genius. Any idiot can see she's telling the truth. If any idiot can see it, who do you think you're kidding? You don't have a date. You're all alone. It's been 10 years. No one holds your hand. You're rejected. You've reduced yourself to the butt of a bunch of dirty jokes. You're about to go to prison. Your family's going to want to know what was so important, Dad. You had to embarrass us with this. Why wasn't there an injunctive order granted after Pinto? Your husband sent me. I'm like, what? I think you have the wrong person. I'm not married. No, your husband sent me. I'm arguing, and I finally flip on the recorder. Who do you think you're kidding? You think I would marry some bitch like you? You are off your nut. Never gonna happen. I won't even take your phone calls. You're a stalker. You got delusional erotomania, and it is icking out your ears and slimed all over everybody else. And we are tired of it Mr. Perry. We're sick of you. I can see you. I can see you. I can. Did that get you a date? You don't have a date. You got crime piling up like a motherfucker. In spite of Josh. Go call Josh Person. What's Josh gonna do? Josh has been investigated too. Josh has been investigated too. So we get this. We get this. There's also that was all over Twitter. Another false arrest is going to substantiate her. If they kill her, if she goes missing, it's going to substantiate her. I told you so. I told you so. I did say so before. Yeah. Okay, so now this is causing a problem for Mr. Powell because he went all over the place everywhere. There's no quid pro quo. Really? Okay. But see, now the problem is Mr. Perry said there was no political vendetta. I mean, there was a political vendetta with no evidence of that. He's the new guy. I had all kinds of experience. I have other men in my life with power. I didn't need the new guy. Nobody calls the new guy. Nobody calls the new guy. He was in the Speaker of the House thingy for his benefit, not mine. I didn't need that. I didn't work on legislation in Texas. I didn't give a shit who the speaker was. That was for his benefit, not mine. Then they have, and we were on the same side, by the way. Then we have the claim of a false police report, but he obstructed justice and destroyed my evidence and committed perjury. Then he contradicts all that with, okay, I was stalking her and I agree to leave her alone. Because you had this other plan. What I'm going to do is make her think I'm going to leave her alone, but really I'm going to harass the hell out of her. And when she complains about it, I'll claim I'm the victim. Oh, feel bad for me. She's telling on me. I'm in Oklahoma more than I'm in Lubbock. You're going to have to prove in our court, to our judge, Charles, Dave, Josh, Matt. You're going to have to prove, Charles, where you've been, how you've been spending your time. Which town are you in? Receipts, video. What are you doing with your time? Because you've gone into court and said, oh, I'm not in Oklahoma doing anything to her. Perjury after perjury after perjury after perjury. So if there was no quid pro quo, then you intentionally deceived the court. And you did it so that you could carry out this fraud up on the highest court in the land. And now the likelihood that Justice Scalia was murdered goes way the hell up. And I'm quoting somebody else. Somebody pretty fucking high up in the United States government. You fucked with the wrong people. And we're all sick and tired of it. Charles, I don't care what some little bitch who can't do anything more than a 2-year-old little girl thinks. You hurt people. And I'm pissed about it. You hurt my family. And for that, and for what you've done to me, my guys go at you harder and harder and harder because I know my family very well. I've known them since I was born. They don't hurt people. They don't do it. If they do, somebody forced them into it or lied to them about something, misled them, or hurt them or coerced them. When I tell my guys I'm going to go to the grocery store or I'm going to shop online or I'm going to try to get this job or that job or do this or do that, they have everything already set up to catch you when you call to try to fuck with it. You didn't think that through? You didn't think if we can get what you just said, like, oh, go call Josh Person. Just find something to charge her with. Go through her trash. Get her contents of her vacuum cleaner. I've been at this 10 years. There's nothing that goes in my trash. Everything gets burned. I burn it. I have. When I was in Sepulpa, I burned it in the sink. Nothing goes in my trash. Certainly, I mean, I'm going to hand it to a neighbor. Wow. You need to think like a CIA person thinks. I'm not saying that's who it is. I'm saying that's how you need to think if you want to keep up with me. TPD didn't get the McNamara email. We did. TPD didn't get Mike was drugged. We did. And then that was confirmed. I said it in January 2020. First responders were not deposed until May 2020. later, months later. I gave it to the Florida State's attorney in March. Still, months before it was confirmed. TPD did not do that, nor did Josh Person. We did that. And I can't do it by myself. If you guys get recorded, you're going to do this to me, or you're going to do that to me. You're going to call this guy, or you're going to call that guy, and you're going to butt in, and you're going to interfere. My guys have already called them. Like maybe the EPA. Let's get the EPA on Cindy's family. Subjugate them. My guys have already called the EPA. Before you do. Because they're going to catch you. Coercing and harassing and threatening and fucking with my family. Nobody's caught you in your crime more than we have. No one. So do you really think I give a fuck what you think? You weren't asked. You were told to get the hell out of my life. Get out. You're alone because you're creepy. You're perverted. Mary Beth, Charles. Mary Beth, you killed her. You beat her with a rock until she died. And you dumped her body at a lake just outside Billings, didn't you? You confessed to taking her clothes off and burning them at a nearby campsite to get rid of trace. Why would an accountant join the Forensic Nurses Association? Unless you want to learn how to get rid of evidence. You're the one that confessed to me you took her clothes off and burned them in a nearby campsite. Once I started saying, Mary Beth sometimes goes by Beth, dumped at a lake just outside Billings. I've not been to Montana. I Googled it. Sure as shit, there's a lake just outside Billings. Recorded. And then Charles confesses, yeah, I took her clothes off and burned. There's no evidence I was even there. Okay, if you say so. There's no evidence you were even there. But you told Randy and I that you had just been in Montana, and it didn't fit the rest of the conversation, and we were wondering what in the fuck you said that for. You confessed to me. Like, I can see you. You're ridiculous. You're ridiculous, and you're caught. You and all your little weirdo friends. For the first time in your life. TPD did not get the McNamara email, or the Mike was drugged email, or this one. We got that. Matt got this one. Matt, your buddy Matt, gave us this one right here. Because he told other attorneys. And those attorneys told their clients. And everybody in jail was talking about it. So once those people get out of jail, they're telling people out on the street. You didn't think of that? You don't think anything through. I've been at this 10 years. I'm not throwing anything. I mean, you go dumpster dive all you want. I don't throw things away. They get burned. I'm good at what I do. You guys said it. Don't slip up with her. She'll catch it. You called Lynn. Lynn, how'd she learn how to do a sting up like that? The best we can figure out is when she was in Vegas after she broke up with Saeed. Nobody really knows what she was up to. She might have been being trained at that time. Then she got pregnant with Tristan and had to get out of whatever it is she might have been in that would have trained her for this. Maybe. I don't know. I don't talk. I don't blab my mouth. I'm not chatty. I just repeat what you say. And that information is obtained by 40 men who don't think little pussies that abuse women and children are cute. You beat Mary Beth over the head with a rock till she died. How do you think I know that? And then you start making excuses. Oh, nobody will be able to. Look what I can do and get away with. I took all her clothes off and burned them, so there's no trace. Every criminal leaves something behind, Charles, and takes something with them. No one gets it all. You do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. Because at the end of the day, if you don't, it's going to bite you in the ass down the road sometime. And my granddad's name is on the front door of the police department where he was chief to this day because he also had adversity. Adversity shows you who the heroes are and who the villains are. Who the strong and the weak. You can't have a hero without adversity. There has to be a war to have a hero. This is that. You're used to dealing with weak people. I get that. This is not that. My granddad did the right thing to do because it was the right thing to do. And it was not easy for him. But guess what? Nobody remembers the name of the villain in his case. But his name is on the front door of the police station to this day. As lawmen and women, we are called to relieve suffering caused by crime. And that is a quote from him. And other men, Mr. Perry, have power. Power to get me the Fabian puzzle at that moment. Not just some random name, Fabian's name. And this. And the McNamara email. And the Mike was drugged email. Right? See, this time you fucked with the wrong people, so call Josh Burson and let him know that. Dark and twisty means I'm sad, not a threat. And were he good at his job, he would have figured that out before he went into a court and lied. Not after. Charles, you're rejected. You're not in a relationship. You don't have anything real. You're not doing anything else. You're not doing anything at all that a 2-year-old little girl can't do. You're pathetic. No one holds your hand. You're alone. And it's been that way for 10 years. And you have reduced yourself to the butt of a dirty joke, just like Anthony Weiner, just like Jeff Epstein. Except Jeff Epstein is not a joke. Jeff Epstein was in jail with a police officer and ended up dead. And Cyril Weck said, we think he was murdered. Because even prisoners are repulsed by guys like Jeff Epstein and Charles Perry and David Robertson and all these men who exploit women and children. You running drugs too? You running guns? My guys already know that, I promise you. TPD didn't get this information. Josh Burson didn't either. We did. Because you fucked with the wrong people when you went at me. When you go at me. When you contact me. When you peep on me. When you hack me. When you bother and steal my money and bother and bother. And the longer Mike sits in jail, the harder they go at you. Because we're going to deal with it in our courtroom. Our judge isn't going to be ignorant on fact. Our judge knows what the hell he's doing. And he's as sickened by what you do as we are. That puzzle, just like that, in jail. That made my heart sing. That made my heart sing. Hope intersecting with Fabian. It's not some other name. It's his name. Sad and boo. Indicating the fear and sadness you caused, Charles. And me, the little butt-in Bertha that you are. Connie Curry. You got to go out with her. You want to go out on your wife? Go out with her. You two are the same. You don't have a life. You try to pretend you're in everybody else's life. And it just becomes a butt-in, very uncomfortable, weird situation. I can see you. Dude, that makes me want to throw up. It's not a trophy. That's why you're alone. It's crime. For you, it's federal. Stalking, hacking, voyeurism. That's crime. Sexual exploitation of women and children. Crime. You got caught. You get caught since you met me. Since you went at me. And you have yet to put that together in your head. I want to know how many times you guys were caught before you met me. How many times after. I want that number. All of you. How many times were you caught before you met me? How many after? And the more you do what you do, the more you get caught. Go call Josh Burson. Yep, go call Josh Burson. What's he going to do? Lie? Try to find another lie to tell? And get away with it? Your thoughts that you're going to get away with it? Duly noted for the record in our court. Because we're getting all this information. We're digging. We don't tell people we don't want your evidence. That's sloppy or corrupt. Which one is it? We don't have fives working with us. You have to be really good at what you do or you can't work with us. It's elite. It's elite. You call my dad. Where did she learn how to do a sting up like that? You make one little slip up and she's got it. Yep. That's true. So TPD didn't get it and Josh Burson didn't either. And they didn't get me that either. TPD get me that? No, they did not. Josh Burson get me that? No, he did not. It's pretty specific to me, isn't it? They got it to me in jail. Right up under your nose. You didn't control it. We did. You don't control your leaks. We do. Other men in my life have power, Charles. You can't even be normal for 5 minutes. Everyone else can be normal. Everyone else is busy working. while you sit around and bother and bother and bother and make everyone hate you and get caught again and again and again and again. And that is the best you will ever be. And you can explain to your kids what was so important, Dad, that you had to embarrass us with this. Start writing your speech. It's about to happen.